Meet the sports logos and mascots. When the game's biggest faces or most spectacular places aren't a true representation of what you really stand for, the logo is looked upon to wear as a historical badge of honor for its players and fans to kiss and hold to the sky. But if the burden of a logo is too heavy to handle, you can always call on those fuzzy, oversized mascots to lighten the load. Whether on football kits or creative characters, these sporting stamps of approval are no match for the truth. In a world of marketing, logos are a way for the brain to connect a person to a product. Corporate Marketing 101. The 3 essentials to a good logo are: 1. It needs to be appropriate to the business. 2. It needs to be memorable. And 3. It must be uncomplicated. Some logos are so good, they've withstood the test of time. The simplicity behind the logo of food processing giant Heinz is symbolic of the company's first days, when they gathered veggies grown in Heinz's mother's garden to bottle and sell. Another company, this time Twinings Tea, boasts a logo that was first used in 1887. And the famous scallop shell of Shell Oil has been a prominent petrol logo since 1904. In professional sports, some of the oldest logos come from North America. One of them can be found in the National Hockey League, where the Montreal Canadiens have used their H swallowed by a C since 1917. The H stands for hockey, as in Club de Hockey Canadien, and not the Habs, a misconception that has been around since 1924, courtesy of Tex Ricard, builder of the 3rd version of Madison Square Gardens, who labeled Montreal the Habitants in an interview. In American football, the Green Bay Packers can thank one of their equipment managers for their famous G logo, which has been the only thing to appear on their helmets since its creation in 1961. But the oldest one might be found in baseball. The New York Yankees have an interlocking N and Y that dates back to 1877. Designed by Tiffany & Co., it was engraved on a medal and presented to a police officer shot in the line of duty. The team adopted it as their cap insignia in 1909, when they were still known as the Highlanders. Coming up, the making of an Olympic logo. Coming up with a high-impact, long-lasting logo that rightfully represents what you stand for is not an easy task. Just ask the organizers of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Their quest for the best crest took them on a whirlwind adventure of bold colors, crowdsourcing, and accusations of plagiarism. In April 2016, organizers of the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games unveiled their new official logo.
I just found out, so my head is completely drawing blanks. It took a long time for me to design it. It's as though the design is like my little child. I hope it will breathe like one, and grow to spread and create more connections.
To the untrained eye, the winning design, entitled Harmonized Checkered Emblem, is essentially a bunch of navy blue checkers on a white background. But organizers chose it for its 3 varieties of indigo blue rectangular shapes, which represent different countries, cultures, and ways of thinking. I can't believe you didn't see that. But the road to the Tokyo 2020 logo hasn't come without its challenges. Namely, the first proposed logo by Japanese designer Kenjiro Sano came eerily close to resembling the logo of a theater in Belgium.
I received lots of messages from Belgian graphic designers to say, oh, they copied your logo, and it's very close. And when I looked closer, I saw it was the same logo.
The designer of the Théâtre de Liège logo, Olivier Deby, had his own ideas of what could be done to ensure the logo was different to what he created.
It could be that, maybe.
Initially, the accusations were greeted with disbelief by the designer of the first 2020 emblem.
When I saw the logo designed by the Belgian designer, there are similar elements, but to be very frank with my opinion, I think the concept of the design is entirely different.
However, recognizing the uncanny similarities and realizing the public relations disaster they had on their hands, Tokyo 2020 organizers intelligently decided to scrap the logo.
We have considered the opinions of the judges and the organizing committee, as well as that of Mr. Kenjiro Sano, and have come to the conclusion that we will withdraw the current design. The decision to make a fresh start in creating a new logo seems to be the most appropriate for everyone involved.
And in a unique save face, organizers decided to crowdsource the new design, opening up competition to Japanese and foreign nationals over the age of 18 with right of residence in Japan. That decision resulted in staff having to sift through nearly 15,000 entries before they were left with a final 4 in early April 2016. The harmonized checkered emblems beat out Connecting Circle Expanding Harmony, Surpassing One's Personal Best, and Flowering of Emotions. It also left Tokyo 2020 Emblem Selection Committee chairperson Ryohei Miyata finally breathing a sigh of relief.
I felt this basic element will thrive and thought it was wonderful. It looks like this raising of one's arms as if it is making an extreme effort, saying, "Look at me." This powerful feeling, I think, will stimulate everyone's imagination. And I thought that was absolutely wonderful.
So next time you thought making an Olympic logo was as simple as slapping a couple of colors and shapes together, think again. In over a century of Olympic Games, it's only natural that there would be some winning logos and some not-so-winning ones. A good one appears to be the Rio 2016 logo. Designed by Federico Gelli at Tatil Design, it is a 3D model inspired by the mountains of Rio with a color palette from the Tijuca forest. A perhaps not-so-good one was seen at London 2012. The self-confessed prescribed anarchy the design company tried to achieve may have been misunderstood by critics, with London Organising Committee Chairman Lord Sebastian Coe saying, "It is an invitation to take part and be involved." But some have said it looks like a swastika. While others, like the Secretary General of Iran's National Olympic Committee, claimed it read Zion, even threatening to boycott the Games as a result. Ultimately, everyone saw Lisa Simpson, and the logo became a fail. The world of Formula One is known just as much for its aesthetics as for its acceleration. These thoroughbreds of the track are so fast that sometimes the only way to recognize them is by their logo. Leading the way is the oldest surviving and most successful Formula One team, Ferrari, and its Cavallino Rampante, or prancing horse. Chosen by Ferrari founder Enzo Ferrari in honor of a World War I fighter pilot who had the horse painted on his plane, Enzo added the canary yellow color in the background as a tribute to his hometown of Modena, along with the letter S for Scuderia, or stable, and F for his surname. The brand has since become so popular, it's raced its way onto the New York Stock Exchange.
The real opportunity for this brand is, and you saw the uniqueness of the logo. I mean, it's a unique animal. There's nothing in the space that looks or smells or behaves like this. Is to extend the reach of the horse into areas that reflect the same level of exclusivity and pricing that the car side does.
If the Ferrari Stallion is all about elegance and exclusivity, there is one logo that is pure power. Red Bull Racing made its Formula One debut at the Australian Grand Prix in 2005 and has quickly become one of the premier teams in the sport, winning their first of 4 consecutive constructors' titles in 2010 on the back of Sebastian Vettel and a passionate group of workers behind the scenes.
And as far as the factory, obviously it's a fairly modest facility in compared to some of our rivals. But what exists within the buildings is a huge amount of desire and passion, and it's that's enabled us to achieve the kind of results that we have over recent years.
But they also boast a bullish logo to lead them, the 2 raging Red Bulls about to clash heads. Originating from the energy drink Austrian businessman Dietrich Mateschitz guzzled while in Thailand to cure his jet lag, the iconography of the brand was retained when the drink was launched back in Austria. The logo is now a mainstay on Formula One circuits with Red Bull Racing and its sister team, Scuderia Toro Rosso. But they're not the only teams Red Bull represents. The symbol can also be spotted on the Austrian ice hockey team Red Bull Salzburg EC, the Austrian football club Red Bull Salzburg, and the MLS side New York Red Bulls. After the break, the Major League Soccer logo evolution. In 2014, Major League Soccer made a design move by changing their old logo as part of a rebrand done to celebrate the league's 20th season.
We went through a process to determine what our core values were. And those core values are represented on those 3 stars. A commitment to club, a commitment to community, and a commitment to country, in that we are operating an environment in the US and Canada where our national teams play and they're creating all these special moments. So it's a re-energizing, a refocus on what we want to be and how we want to communicate that.
The MLS has turned into a flourishing football reality in a country that once saw soccer as simply boring. With flashy team logos to represent their names like the Galaxy or Whitecaps existing side by side with more European names like New York City FC or Real Salt Lake. But for every new league that needs a new logo, there's a long list of those that have stuck to tradition. If you're searching for an old sporting crest, it's worth looking at what is arguably the oldest professional club in the world. Notts County was formed in 1862 and played a total of 4,756 Football League matches between 1888 and 2014, which is more than any other English team. In the early 1900s, they were so influential that Italian side Juventus derived their famous black and white kits from them in 1903. Throughout their history, the Notts County logo has featured magpies representing joy, which is somewhat ironic when you consider they've never appeared in the Premier League. The first English club to wear its sponsor's logo on their jersey is Liverpool, when they agreed on a deal with Hitachi in 1979. But their own logo is much more sentimental. Although it may have morphed over the years, one constant on the Liverpool badge has been the appearance of the city's liver bird. A badge was once designed to also feature two flames symbolic of the Hillsborough Memorial outside Anfield, while the head of the badge commemorates the famous Shankly Gate. And their battle cry, "You'll never walk alone." Another Liverpool side boasting a traditional badge is Everton.
And for the second year running,
Having never been relegated in the Premier League era, the main feature of their crest is the Everton Tower, with the motto, "Nil satis nisi optimum." Nothing but the best is good enough. Founded in 1878, the club tried changing its crest in 2013, but it only lasted one season after a 91% disapproval rating from fans. Meanwhile, over in North London, Arsene Wenger and Arsenal have seen cannons adorn their crest since the team first came into existence back in 1888, when the team was known as Royal Arsenal. And then there are the Manchesters. Manchester United, the most powerful club in English football and the most successful team in Premier League history. And Manchester City, a team that has become a powerhouse themselves ever since they were purchased by the Abu Dhabi Group back in 2008. For United, their logo features the ship from the city's coat of arms. The Red Devil has a more recent history, having been introduced into the mix in 1970. After rumour has it that Sir Matt Busby asked for the club to incorporate a devil into their badge due to the red kit they wore in the 1960s. Like their cross-town rivals, Manchester City also has a ship in their badge in honour of the Manchester Ship Canal. The golden eagle comes from the arms of the city of Manchester, while the three diagonal stripes represent the city's three rivers. The three stars on top? Unlike other teams that use stars to represent domestic or European Cup success, theirs are simply decorative. If stars are seen as more of a fashion statement at City, when it comes to national team kits, a star signals the biggest accomplishment for a football nation, winning the World Cup. Thanks to their 1998 win, the French national team has one star standing above their crowning cockerel symbol. One adopted in 1909 to represent the triumph of light over darkness and good over evil. The single star patch is also seen above the Three Lions badge of England, who won the title on home soil back in 1966. Incidentally, the significance of the Three Lions dates back to the 12th century, when a standard with 3 gold lions was carried into battle to inspire their troops. Spain is the third team with a single star above their badge, having won it all in 2010. Argentina has 2 stars sitting above their badge, thanks to victories in 1978 and 1986. 3 nations have 4 stars: Italy, Germany, and Uruguay. The South Americans won the World Cup twice, in 1930 and 1950. but have another 2 stars to represent their Olympic victories of 1924 and 1928. FIFA recognizes those titles as World Championships. And only one nation has 5 stars, Brazil. With the exception of the 1980s, when they arguably had the greatest national team of all time, the Seleção hoisted the trophy once every decade from 1958 to 2002. It's worth noting that African sides Ghana, Cameroon, and the Ivory Coast all have stars adorning their jerseys too. But those are to honor their African Cup of Nations titles. For all the interesting, inspiring, and intricate designs that adorn football jerseys around the world, it was only inevitable that some miss the marketing mark. Take Czech side Bohemians, 1905. After being given 2 kangaroos as a parting gift following their tour of Australia in the 1920s, the Central European side decided to make the marsupial its cute little logo. And if Wigan Athletic often gets teased for their uninspiring symbol of a peaceful tree, Italian side Sampdoria's rendition of a sailor looks more like a pipe-smoking Sherlock Holmes. But the most curious logo may be found in Finland, thanks to the team known as FC Santa Claus.
It was founded in 1992 with 2 clubs from Rovaniemi. 2 old clubs, and we started playing in 2nd division, which is 3rd highest level in Finland. And since then, we have been playing with FC Santa Claus name in mostly in the 3rd highest level.
You must admit, it's hard to take a 3rd division Finnish football team very seriously. But it's even harder to take any team seriously with Santa as their symbol and biggest fan.
Santa is fan of all sports, and of course he follows the FC Santa Claus closely when he has times. And sometimes it's good time for Santa Claus to watch our games also.
Still to come, the many mascots of world sport. Mascots were meant to help fans cheer their team to victory, inspiring both competition and camaraderie.
Like a hot box. So really, really hot.
Some have delivered on that mascot mandate to put on a show and please the crowds with exactness and fun, while others have been less than pleasing. Arguably the greatest mascot in sport is found in Major League Baseball, Philadelphia's Phillie Phanatic. The giant green thing has taken the whole mascot game to new heights, never backing down from a furry challenge. In fact, his quest for laughs has made him the most sued mascot in sport, having lawsuits filed against him as many as 6 times for inflicting damages to unassuming fans, largely thanks to his rotund size. Despite the criminal record, he can sure get a laugh. Meanwhile, there have been a few misses in the mascot business, as seen by the existence of London 2012 one-eyed wonders Wenlock and Mandeville, who paid a visit to Rio and reminded people how weird-looking the duo was. Rio 2016 has also given us the somewhat dynamic duo of Vinicius, a strange genetic mutation of a cat, bird and monkey, to best represent Brazilian wildlife all in one. And its Paralympic companion, Tom, represents the local plant life and is able to pull any object out of his hair. Sound like a stretch? It is, but their presence helps put money in the bank, with Rio 2016 tapping into the lucrative consumer market for kids.
We expect to have a gross invoice of 1 billion reais we're going to be closing 70 license deals, and we will have 150 stores. Our expectation is that the Mascots will represent 25% of our business.
So when it comes to sporting mascots, no matter how awesome or awkward they may be, the bottom line is they generate high spirits and deep pockets. Every sporting fan needs something to identify with in the teams that they love. Because, let's be honest, most find it hard to relate to the Cristiano Ronaldos or LeBron Jameses of the world. Hence the importance of a team's logo. Not only does it represent a club or country, but like a family crest, it evokes an emotional link with a glorious past and a promising future. Pray you have a worthy mascot to join you in the cause. And that is the truth.